One of the tools that we've completely transformed for version 9.5 is the BlendCurve tool. So let's take a look at the workflow of the new BlendCurve. So I'm going to simply select the BlendCurve, and it will automatically attach itself to either curves or surfaces or both. So I just click and drag, and you can see that it's automatically attached to the surface. And I can slide it around and choose whichever orientation I want. So I'm going to slide it down to the corner here. And same thing with the bottom surface, or if it was a curve, I can attach it to that. And I'll slide it out to the corner, and now it's snapped to there. I can also create individual blend points that aren't snapped to anything, and I can add as many as I want. So let's make another blend curve off of this corner. But let's say I want a little bit more control over the shape of the blend curve itself. So I'm going to add another point in the middle here somewhere, and then I'll make a third point back on this bottom surface. Okay, it's going to do its best to interpret exactly how you want to interact with the tangents from either the surfaces or the curves. If you don't like the orientation that it's come up with by default, just select the curve itself, go into edit mode, and it'll bring up all the blend points. In this case I have 3, and you can select it, which will bring up these on-screen manipulators, and you can just simply select the direction that you want to change this to. So if I wanted it to follow this edge and come out this direction, I can select on that part of the manipulator, or if I wanted to go in this particular direction, I can pick that direction. You can also rotate it around, so maybe I don't want either one of these edges, but I wanted it to come off maybe 45 or somewhere in between these. You can select on the blue dotted circle and just click and drag on the manipulator, and you can move the direction in whatever way you want. So again, same thing for the middle point. You can continue to move it around, or you can pick the bottom one and reorient that to whichever direction makes sense. There's also controls for controlling the magnitude of the curvature or tangency. By default, these points will be selected as curvature. If you wanted something different like tangent, I can go back to tangent. Or if you want it just positional, whereas you want it to be attached to the surface, but you don't really want the continuity to be maintained, you can choose the positional option. So I'll go back to curvature, and you can click and drag on this part of the manipulator, which is the tangent magnitude. So it's how strong or how weak the continuity is being calculated. So you can just click and drag that to adjust it. If you wanted to do more than one blend point at the same time, just hold down Control, pick both blend points, and you can also use the tangent magnitude slider in the modeling tool panel, and you can change both at the same time to change the shape to whatever is most appropriate. Sometimes it's helpful to see the displayed CVs. So if I go back into edit mode, check on the CV box here, now you can see in orange the control vertices are displayed. And so if I'm playing with the tangent magnitude, sometimes it's helpful to know exactly where those points are and how close they are getting to one another. The CurveOffset tool has been updated and now contains a few more options for increased control. So we'll select this inside curve and we'll offset that inward. You can also select multiple curves, just like many of the other tools. So you don't need to select one curve at a time and do multiple offsets. You can do them all together. Let's define the distance that we want as minus 0.4. And you can see we have a lot of the same controls that we had before with a few new ones that will be quite useful. So we have the standard X, Y, and Z. We have the curve normal. We've added a curve natural. So some of the more organic shapes or curves that you have, sometimes that can be very useful. And we also have a custom direction and also an elevation. So this can be kind of nice if you wanted to offset this curve and you want to create a surface that's going to come down from here. Instead of having to copy and paste this curve or delete the construction history, you can leave this curve directly in construction history and just use the elevation to change its position relative to the original curve. So I'll move it down, and that makes it very easy now. If I wanted to create a surface that had a little bit of draft or a little bit of slope that came to this one, for example, using the loft tool, I can now loft directly from this edge down to this curve. And then just use the options in the loft tool to achieve whatever continuity that I want, if I wanted continuity, or if I just wanted to leave just a straight surface between those edges. The PathCast tool is another one of the tools that we have improved the workflow and also added many useful options. So similar to some of the other tools that we've been updating, we now allow you to use more than one curve and more than one surface or object to project onto. So I can pick this curve or any number of curves I want to project. When you're done, press the space bar, and I can also pick as many surfaces or objects that I want to project onto. We also have added quite a few controls for how the projection direction is being handled. So we still have the X, Y, Z, we have curve normal, inverse normal, both normals at the same time. We also have added a perpendicular to surface. So when objects aren't exactly square to the world or square to your grid, that one can be very useful. And you can also use custom direction to completely customize exactly how you want that projection to take place. We've also added things like elevation, so you can move the projection around, so it doesn't necessarily have to be right on the surface itself, so you can move that. Sometimes that can be helpful. And we've also, now that we have multiple objects that can be involved in the projection, you can also choose which faces you want to be included or which faces you want to ignore. So if you go into edit mode, edit parameters mode, you'll see all the faces that are involved in the operation are highlighted. And let's say you do not want the projection to take place on this top surface, you can just select that surface and the projection will not take place on that particular surface. So the same thing if I didn't want it to be on this inside surface and this inside surface, you simply click off of those and they're gone. Or if you want to turn them back on, you just invert the selection by holding Control and it turns it right back on.